Hey everybody, I had to push this video out really quick. As a short video, we're going to take a look at some images. And my question to you is, because something happened to me when I was shopping at a store, and that is, in photography, is the sharpness of an image now considered a style? And I'm going to show you three different categories in my opinion. We'll talk about pros and cons on this. Are we ready for this? Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to the channel, this is dedicated to photography as a photo artist, pushing ourselves out of the box creatively. All right, this is not a normal video for me. Normally I put something out every Wednesday. It's a little bit more in depth when it comes to concepts of photography and that. I pushed this out really quick because something unusual happened to me when I was shopping at a store, and I started thinking about things, and that is, today for the last few years is the dynamic range in terms of detail and sharpness of an image now being considered a style. And I'm going to share with you some images, but I'm going to share also with you that I was taught a few years ago, when you edit a image, how do we determine how far to go with sharpening that image based on, the look that we want? So I'm going to share what I was taught years ago, and I think it's maybe a good thing to follow for yourself. So let's jump right into the program here. Let's take a look at some images. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I got rid of all my high-end glass because, to me, with today's cameras, especially the newer ones, they have a great dynamic range, and with good glass on lenses, I am not a big fan of images that look very clinical looking, very strong digitally. In fact, it has that strong digital look. Now, I'm not, again, it's just personal taste, and I'll express my opinion toward the end, and I'd like to get your opinion too. But I love an analog look. So if we take a look at this is Peter Lindbergh's image that was in a fashion magazine. And I forgot what year this was taken, but again, black and white, a little bit of grain in there, but very low, say in the dynamic range, very soft, doesn't have that strong digital look. They consider this an analog look, and that's my favorite thing. And I love doing that in my own photography, and clients love that too. So to me, in my opinion, this is just a choice in style, and that's why I got rid of all my expensive glass and started using inexpensive glass with an old DSLR that I love to use because it gives me that look. The last thing I want to do is have a high-end dynamic range in my camera with good glass, and I want that analog look. And now in software, I got to push it back and stuff, and for me, it's just extra work. Okay, so I'm trying to use the right equipment based on the look that I want to get. Another example here, this is not, again, an analog look, but this is by Albert Watson, who's still alive today as of this recording in 2025. I believe he is 83, still active, does a lot of guest speaking at different functions. And I would consider this a very natural, normal kind of feel and look when it comes to photography in terms of sharpness. It's not over sharp, but it doesn't have that analog type look or style to it. But when I started viewing other images like this one, this is a few years ago, Joel Grimes, I had the privilege of actually working with him at his home studio back in Arizona a few years ago. And I think his wife, Amy, took this with his camera, which was at that time the latest and greatest from Canon, along with very high-end glass. And for me, personally, it just has too much detail, too strong of a digital look to it. But again, not right or wrong if you like that kind of, I'm going to quote this, style of sharpness. But I've been looking at images like this right here from out in the woods, and I don't know who did this, but again, it has that very strong digital look to it. And then here's another one that I can't capture this because I was in a store, so let me tell you the story really fast. And somebody had made a comment, which I sort of agreed with, and that is, I'm looking at an 8K TV display, and they're showing photographs. This is by Samsung now, and obviously you can't see the detail of these images because I'm showcasing all this stuff in 1080p on YouTube, and YouTube actually will crunch down and optimize these videos a bit too. So you're losing the true detail of these high detail and sharpened images. But this is an 8K video clips and still images. And I heard a person behind me saying, that doesn't look natural. I think it looks like a portal to another dimension or something like that. And inside I started chuckling and I'm thinking, you know what? You're right, because it doesn't have a natural look, because when I stood back, I was gazing around the store and the image was much more sharper and stronger, say, in detail than real life. So it was like sort of a surreal type of look. Now, I'm not against that look if you like it. My point is, I think as photographers now, the dynamic range of detail and sharpness is now a style. We can go from like, oh, I want that analog look, to say a sort of normal sharpened look, which I'm going to share with you. How do you determine how far you want to go with sharpness? And then we can go the extreme side, that strong, high-end sort of clinical digital kind of look and style. So in the show notes, if you can do me a favor, and again, no right or wrong, express your feelings on this. Do you think that sharpness now is a choice of style? And to give you an example before I get into a method of sharpening here that you might want to use with your images. But a lot of people like the color grade. Some don't like the color grade. They just want a nice neutral looking image, proper white balance, and that's it. Other people want to color grade that slightly, and others really push that color grade to a point where it's very extreme. And a lot of people don't like that. But again, a lot of people do. It's not right or wrong. It's just color grading is a style. Now, what I was taught years ago, if you are going to process an image with software and you like a certain look and you want to determine that, okay, I want maybe a natural sharpened type look and I don't want to go too far with it, take your hand and stick it on your monitor. And as you're sharpening an image, look at the image compared to your hand. If the hand is as sharp as your image, you're in that normal human range of sharpness. If you go too far, the image looks sharper than the hand, and now you're out of that normal range. It's not right or wrong to go out of that normal range, but using physically your hand on a monitor will determine how far you go with sharpening. Or that analog look. I don't want it to be as sharp as my hand, and that's what I want to work for, that analog, softer look and less detail. So that's an old school type method. Probably people were like thinking, what's this crazy guy doing? But I went up to that big display, that Samsung display at 8K, and here's a guy sticking his hand on the monitor, looking at my hand versus the display. And man, that display was just like so over sharpened and detailed that compared to the human hand. That's when I backed off and I'm looking around the store going, yeah, it feels like a portal into another dimension, because it just, it looked cool, but it wasn't real. So again, what do you think? Is sharpen an image now a style for us today as photographers? No right or wrong. I just want to get your opinion. And let's keep it neutral. I don't want any disagreement or argument. It's a style. Either you like that clinical look, that digital strong detail type stuff, versus normal versus analog. All right, guys, until next time, see you on a Wednesday for our normal videos. Take care. Bye-bye.